And we're live from the venue normally known as the Sundar Dome.
So what do we call it today? Is it the birthday dome? Is it
It's the
the
it's just being
Sundar
used
Day
for
dome? I don't know what we call it.
today is just Fenris Day,
Ah, that works. I'll take that.
International Sundari Appreciation Day.
Isn't that every day?
It is for me,
I know for you it's every day.
but most people don't appreciate the Sundaris. God
To be
damn.
fair though, like International Blank Day for you, the things that you like, that there's no day for it. It's just a 365 stretch.
I know. God damn. I started having to watch some anime just get away from all the bullshit going on in the real world.
See, so you need to start living in my world where you just don't pay attention to any of it now.
I know. It's
It's
just
so
like
the grass is so much greener here.
I know. Well, this Kavanaugh bullshit is like, ugh.
Oh, that's a different story. I keep up with that, like, sort of, just so I'm in the loop.
Yeah, it's like I. It's kind of like, why, why? And I see these people saying that they want to do this until Donald Trump nominates Merrick Garland. Like, I don't think he will ever nominate that guy.
I don't know.
That's
For
what,
me, for me, it's just more just the same conversations of he said, she said, and all the conversations that come in between that.
and
I've
that's
had I've had a few conversations with my girlfriend that have not been very positive about this stuff because it's just
well,
you,
here's
you can't explain to people the whole idea of you got to wait for the evidence to come in first.
well, like I see these congressmen and senators saying that they instantly believe her and that no woman could lie. Like, mattress girl happened.
Well, and look, and I've said this so many times before. It's not that I don't believe a word of it, but here's the thing: I don't believe a word of either of them because there's no evidence to support either. The only thing I know is that these were two people that were drunk in high school. That's all I got.
Mm-hmm.
So until
Oh,
the court comes to,
I know that's
let's just assume that both of them have something here, but they were both drunk, so kind of they're both invalid at this point.
yeah. It's just like, but like Aim Paladin and others have pointed out that Dr. Ford, she does that upspeak shit that women do when they're trying to get their way.
Yeah,
And it's like, and guys like me, we're like, no woman talks that way. That is not a normal voice for a woman. Because it's just like, ugh. I had to just sit down. I was going to watch all of One Room, start to finish, and I just decided to go to the last arc of the new season because of the
yeah.
silver-haired tsundere. I have a
I'm just
type.
I'm just finally glad that the season's well, other than Overlord, because Overlord decided to be special and have 1 week to itself. But I'm so happy that the season's over because almost every show that I've liked this season ended poorly.
Yeah, I need to finish Cells at Work, but trying to remember.
I'm going to bring up my final article that's going to go up as soon as Overlord puts his last episode out because they felt like being special. Let's see. Cells at Work, no, they didn't end very well at all. Chio's School Road, and was terrible last episode. Harukana Receive, meh. Demon Lord, actually really fun. That's the one that did end pretty well.
Now that you mentioned Harukana Received, here's the thing I hate about sports anime. They go through all this shit and they still lose.
Actually, it's the opposite. They
Oh,
win, and
all
they
they,
shouldn't. They shouldn't be winning. They do. Did you ever watch the show Aokana? It was like a bunch of like people skating on the air kind of
I
show.
tried to, but when saw that it was like a adaptation of Aeroga, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, they're going to adapt the easy girl route, and like, and the easy girl's usually the worst girl.
Yeah. So the way that I equate that show and Harukana Receive in the same is that they do something that a lot of sports anime that I've come across are doing that are driving me absolutely insane. And that's they're having the person that is completely new to the sport within a very short amount of time beating people that have been doing it for 15 years. So when Harukana Receive, the main girl, Haruka, literally had not played volleyball ever. As
Yeah,
far as we led to know, she's never
well,
played
yeah,
beach
but
volleyball ever.
I kind of mean like Ice Shield 21. If you saw how that one basically ended, but basically, no matter how good Senna is, he'll never be as good as Panther because Panther's black and black people have an extra muscle.
Well, that's just like Pokemon. Ash Ketchum's never going to win a fucking tournament.
I know. I just don't get that shit either. It's like
I don't understand it, but
it's
like
not even like he's going to be in the same Pokemon. Like he's going to a different continent. He's going to compete in a different league, and like, so why can't you just let him win one or two?
But yeah, no, it's just the thing with Harukato where it's like yeah, sure, the partner she's playing with has a lot of experience and has won before, but she also is a shell of her former self, has some real fucking mental issues. But just
Yeah.
because of the basis that this girl shows up, all of a sudden that girl that used to be top shit, all of a sudden is top shit again, and she can carry this girl.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of insane. But they basically beat the number 2 team in the world, who are sisters and literally know each
All
other
the American,
back to
two
back.
American girls who are clearly American because they're Aryan, and one has American flags in her room and all that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
That's another thing about anime that gets on my nerves. It's like it's that all Americans are blonde, and all Americans like hamburgers. Like,
I had to really hold myself back from not calling that show for being expletively racist in the way that they show off Americans, because I'm like, see, you can't even put one simple thing of somebody being Japanese in a show, but the second an American's in an anime, they put every American stereotype in there, and no one bats a fucking eye
well,
because it's
you
not
should
being
see
made by white people.
you should see my stream I did with Lionel a few weeks back when we were talking about G Gundam and how Chibody Crockett's Gundam is designed.
Yeah.
It's a football player boxer with a magnum. uh,
You know,
that kind of shit's one of those things that gets on my nerves about like how Americans are portrayed. I have this idea from my index fan fiction. It's like my character's an American. Well, he's half American. He's like, and they're asking him if he like a hamburger, cheeseburger. He's like, the fuck did you say? Just because I'm an American, you think I want one of those?
I mean, I want a cheeseburger. Does that count?
But it's just kind of funny. They're stereotyping him as wanting a cheeseburger. It's like, God, no. In America, we eat burritos and Mexican food.
Motherfuckers, cheeseburgers are good. Shut up.
I like cheeseburgers, but it'd just be kind of funny. He's like, because he's like a irritable character, my original character. He's like, and it's kind of stereotypical. They think all Americans like hamburgers.
Well, it's like how people used to make the joke of like, oh, it's so racist to say that black people like fried chicken. I'm like, yeah, it's not even racist. It's just stupid because everybody likes fried chicken.
I know. Well, I saw some video like, remember those BuzzFeed who did that 36 questions for black people for white people, and they're asking why we don't season our food. Like, I just think about that all the time. Like, well, we do season our food. We just don't feel the need to dump a bunch of hot sauce on it.
It's just like, even then, I probably would have just answered it and be like, I eat everybody's kind of food. Like, why the hell are you looking at me?
I know. Well, that's one of those things about black people. They act like we don't season our food. We just kind of moderately season our foods.
Well, it's not even necessarily that. It's just like,
yeah.
I can even be honest. It's like most of us are fucking lazy. We don't really put that much work into it.
Yeah, but also,
well, if cracked dinner tastes good, we don't need to do anything else to it.
Yeah. That's just like Jesus. So I started Destiny 2. I got past like sadly the mission where Cade dies. Like, you know it's coming, and then you're emotionally prepared, and it still makes you feel sad.
No, I was more pissed off because once you realize that it's not even Nathan Fillion voicing it, it makes you even more upset. Because it's like it's not only you're killing off my favorite character in the game, but you're also killing off a fake version of that character.
I know. I noticed that the voice sounded really off. It's like, what? That doesn't sound like Nathan Fillion.
And then you're like, oh, it's not. Shit.
Yeah, the voice is really off. It's like, ugh. I can't believe fucking Zavala. He's like, we're not conquerors. Like, we should be conquerors.
It's like, motherfucker, we go to every other planet and kill shit.
I know, but it's just like, motherfucker. If we conquered more shit and expanded the city a little bit, the Red Legion would be able to hit us so hard. We got like one fucking city.
That's the thing too. Like, I feel like we're at a point now that like you feel like the farm should be something more now. You feel like there should be like we should be slowly like working our way back.
I know.
But they seem to just constantly like ignore stuff that happens.
Well, Zavala, he doesn't want to bring back some things like Rasputin and all that, and like because of the war money, he's like all upset because we're bringing Rasputin back. Like, come on, we got hit hard.
It's like, look, we've been nearly extinct. Like, we need to do something.
Yeah, Rasputin's probably our best option because I kind of feel like Rasputin, not Rasputin, but Zavala is kind of like, what have we done? Like, I don't know if he's upset that we gave Rasputin that kind of power, or it was his mistake for thinking that Rasputin was a weapon.
I don't even read far enough into it. I'm just like, it does
Well,
cool shit and it's a smart computer. Fucking use it.
well, it's more that ending cinematic to the War Mind DLC because he goes, "What have we done?" Because Rasputin says to Anna Bray says that he will defend humanity on his own terms.
At that point, I'd just be like, well, as long as he does his job.
Yeah, and he's reestablished the war stats and all that. And I just think we're at a point in the story where we can't be just having one city. That makes us too vulnerable. But goddamn, we need to get the moon back. I miss going to the moon.
Well, that's the thing. I I don't understand. This comes to the same idea that I had too, where it's like Destiny 2 should never have existed. It should have just been a continuation of Destiny 1 because they just erased so much stuff.
I know, because the vault of glass is still a threat.
Well, that's the thing too, right? Like there's still because everybody's like, oh, it's fun. We got new stuff to do. I'm like, yeah, but don't tell me that there's no reason for us to go to the moon or Venus anymore.
I
I mean,
know,
sure, it was Mars also for a while, but obviously we went back to Mars
but
now. But
we're not going to the same part of Mars where the Cabal and their giant tank was.
yeah, and I
And
mean, like,
that's what they took me a long time to realize in Destiny One. I thought it was like a fortress, and then later on, I was like, "Oh shit, that's a fucking tank.
yeah,
That's a giant tank. God damn, how do they build such a big tank?"
space tank, yo, they have the Leviathan.
I know. I was just like, and Zavala thinks we should just have like one city. These motherfuckers have giant tanks the size of a city.
No, Zavala was like, we just need one city, and then Callus is just like, I have a ship that literally eats planets.
I know. Uh,
It's like, your city isn't even like an appetizer to me.
Zabala's not exactly a good representation for the Titans. He's not smart.
Well, I think this is the other part too that's starting to make, even though I'm enjoying Forsaken for what it is driving me nuts now that the two leaders of the Vanguard that we have are two of the most unlikable characters in the entire fucking game.
Zabala wants to sit on his thumb, and Ikora, she does nothing.
Honestly, Akora just seems like she's always got to stick up her ass the entire time.
I know. We need to get Lord Saladin in charge of the Titans again. We need Osiris. We need him back. I mean, the speaker's gone. Thank goodness. That guy was a lying bastard, if you ask me.
Yeah, but I'm still upset that now two of my favorite voice actors have been killed off in Bill Nye and Nathan Fillion now. So I'm a little salty at this point with Bungie's decisions on who they're killing.
Yeah.
I'm afraid they're just going to suddenly cut out Crispin Freeman, the guy who voices the male. I think it's the male Awoken Titan, or just the male Titan in general.
That's why I have my Titan ass as an Awoken.
Because why the hell would you not have the voice of fucking Alucard as yourself?
Yeah. And Bear walking from Gungrave.
Yeah.
Crap. It's been a while since I remembered who these dub voices were because I switched subs, and I was like, I forgot most of these people. It's like, how could I forget them?
Because
Now
I
I'm
mean, at
like,
this point, I don't think there's anybody else in the
not with
voice
Funimation,
cast that I actually know. Like,
not with Funimation, or oh, you mean a Destiny 2 voice cast?
yeah, Destiny 2. Like, literally, not counting
Ikora is
Nolan North. Like, there's
basically,
really nobody else that it's like a character in the game that you're aware of that's like I know of.
I know. I think Ikora is Zoe from Firefly.
Maybe I don't know.
That's
I
what
don't
I've
know.
heard.
I don't know that I don't know too many voice actors, so it's a pretty big deal if I know
Yeah.
any of them.
Yeah, most people forget the dub voices, and we remember every Japanese voice. Oh,
Yeah.
that's Hanakana. Oh, that's Uchida Maya. Inorine. That's how we are. We're just like we recognize.
Huh. How did I not notice Stephen Fry is in Warmind?
I don't know.
Apparently, he's an AI in that game. I don't even remember.
Probably from one of those panels you interact with to learn about the closed Bray facility.
And then the girl who plays Deadpool's girlfriend is Sagira. I didn't. Well, mind you, I wouldn't have figured that out either.
Nah,
She doesn't have like a recognizable voice like somebody like a Nathan Fillion. So
I know. Even though our ghost is Nolan North is just like, can we have a little DLC that makes him sound like Deadpool, where he's making jokes and shit like that make no sense.
personally, I would just rather have Failsafe as my ghost.
But damn, I, I always wanted to kill Aldrin because he just came across as a dick, and now I really want to kill him.
You'll get there. Obviously, can't spoil anything.
Well, I know we kill him in the end.
Do you know how it goes though?
We save him from Ribbon, and we still kill him because you're a motherfucker.
Well, then you're no fun. You kind of had to spoil yourself, didn't you?
Well, I watch lore videos once in a while because I was bored.
But you wouldn't have been now you're not going to be thrown off like I was when the fucking Kako demon emerges. Jesus Christ. Like there was an audible what the fuck from me when that first happened.
Tentacle rape demon. Good thing Aldrin's not a girl.
Well, I'm sure Marisov enjoys that in her spare time.
I did not need to think about that.
What, Marisov tentacle? No, come on. That's par for the course, man.
Yeah, she does look like an anime girl.
It's a space thing. It's just a reality. That's
Mhm.
just how it is. That's how people have sex in space. It's just all tentacles.
Tentacles ruin everything for me. Let's see.
But yeah, no. I finished like I said, anime wise, I finished almost everything, and almost everything sucked. Like Isekai Mao is the only one that had a good ending.
Yeah.
Even the show that's going to be my show of the year or show of the season in Yuna and the Hot Springs had a terrible last episode.
Well, they did like a beach episode, right?
Sort of, but they also didn't have. They also had half the cast like just go away because they were going home for vacation. I'm like, so you're gonna end the final episode by kicking out most of the cast that we like? Okay.
Well, I think, God willing, they'll get a second season.
Well, they left the door pretty wide open to need to because
Well, I hope so because Sagiri has a cousin named Hibari who happens to be my favorite girl.
man,
And
the last few episodes, like Oboro is still barely hanging on, but Sagiri made a real goddamn good push at the end.
mm-hmm. She did grow on me over time. I kind of got bored with the really violent tsunderes.
See, the problem is she. I don't. This is the thing that I kind of throw those out the window because I'm like, I know they're not that violent. It's just because when you randomly fall on them over and over again and grab their breasts, they're gonna stab anything that walks. I don't think I'd have to worry about that problem.
Mm-hmm. I just, well, don't know if you ever heard of this anime called Samurai Harem or something like that. That
There's
might not be
plenty that sounds like it.
that's that might not be the right name because I think that was. Let me do my anime plant lookup but there was like a girl in there, like two girls because they're like sisters. One was like a really violent, psychotic bitch who acts like she's nice all the time. She's basically the main girl, and her sister's like the kind of passively ill-tempered tsundere, where she's not violent, she's just got a sharp tongue. I kind of like the sharp tongue tsunderes because they're not gonna beat the shit out of you for nothing. That's that's what I don't like because that's the reason why I can't finish. Crap. Familiar Zero because Louis is just beating the shit out of him over every small thing. It's like, this is not what a tsundere is.
It's weird too because like I really, really, really dislike Yuna as a character in Yuna and the Hot Springs
I
because
don't like her either. She's that main girl who's just boring. Who her whole shtick is that she's nice.
I wouldn't say that she's boring in this anime. I think the problem is that her voice is a little too irritating after a while.
She's probably got that idiot voice going on where
She's got the airheady voice for sure, yeah.
yeah.
But it's also the fact too that like she even openly acknowledges that she hates the fact that she keeps throwing the main character out a window every time she herself ends up going into his bed and starts glomping him.
I know.
Like it's the same thing that I see when it's like you see throughout harem animes where like the girls are in the guys' room and they're changing and they get caught. It's like you know you don't get to be pissed off. That's your own goddamn fault.
Bitch, get
Or
out of my
like or
room.
like when she's undressing, but the bathroom door is half open, so you makes it look like it's it's not occupied. It's stuff like that I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. I know the joke is that the main character just gets beaten up all the time, but you kind of got to get a little bit of a better reason for it.
I know.
Like if the guy barges into the bathroom when there's clearly the sound of a shower outside, that's his own goddamn fault. But if there's no noise and you're just undressing, and not only did you not close the door, but you certainly didn't lock it either because you're stupid.
I know. It's sort of like I don't remember it was Ori where Kiyosuke was like doing something with the laundry and Kirino thought he was grabbing her underwear. Like might have been some other anime that did that. Like it's not his fault. He's probably putting dirty laundry away or something like that. He can't be hating him. That's just.
It's also like, well, if you're gonna put your own shit in there, make sure you take it out before he gets to it.
Yeah.
Don't be a lazy bitch.
I just get tired of that whole cliche, the violent tsundere. It just.
I think it depends on how it works.
Yeah.
I think if it's done properly, you can.
Yeah.
Some of them can get away with it, especially if they have a really good personality to go with it. And I think that's why Sagiri passed for me on this one, because she at least has like something to offer on the flip side, that it's like, okay, I know I'm not going to be the guy that's falling on her every 5 minutes, so I think I'll be able to live.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of, when it works good, it's sort of like in the Index series. Basically, Misaka, she's always throwing lightning at Toma, but she knows that he'll just cancel it out. She's just trying to get his attention.
Well, I think it's the kind of the running joke too with Kogarashi in this anime, is that he's such a strong sphere medium that nothing she really does anything. Like he can literally punch a deity in one shot. So it's like he can handle a girl with a kunai getting a little pissed off and slightly poking him.
Yeah, well, also no one knew that he was that strong.
Well, yeah, by the end of it, they're like, okay, yeah, this guy's not one we fuck with.
Yeah, because I think he's the seventh Yata Hagane or something like that.
Well, yeah, there's literally a demon that gets unleashed, and he tries to bite his arm off and doesn't work. And he goes, all right, I'm just going to seal myself now because I'd rather do that than have to fight you again.
Oh, fuck, you're serious. Okay, I'm just going to seal myself because you scare me.
It's like, yeah, I think I'll just go seal myself rather than get just completely pummeled and then get sealed.
Yep.
I'll save myself the trouble.
Pretty much.
But that show altogether, I was just really happy with, because it was very much an ode to like the old school, like late 90s, early 2000s harems. Just very traditional.
I always say it's like To Love Ru, Rito was actually a man.
Yeah, I gave that show a really fair shake, and I just like I can't get past the fact that like he's just an absolute fucking dipshit.
Well, what gets me about
more than usual.
What gets me about To Love Ru is basically his obsession with Haruna. She has to be the most blander than mayonnaise heroine I ever did see. She has no personality, other than that she's nice.
To be fair, before all these characters show up, she's the best he has.
Yeah. But then, of course, we learned about Yui. Like, I would pick Yui over Haruna. Not because she's a tsundere, but because she's got something resembling a personality.
I mean, even just in general, just that show. The more I watch it, the more that I'm like, I'm literally just watching this for ecchi now. It's a
Well,
decent comedy, so there's at least
I
something
had to,
there. But
I had to,
realistically speaking, it's
I
all
had to,
ecchi.
I had to skip all the way to Love Ru Darkness to watch it because it's just like random episode, random episode. None of them really connected to each other. And that works for like Gintama, but other series it doesn't really work.
I think honestly, and it's why I'm going to change over the way that I do my weekly reviews on my blog page. I'm going to start having a couple extra rating systems for certain things that the anime does. Like I'll have your basic stuff like the overall ability for the show to keep me invested, to keep me interested. Because there are shows that I'll watch an episode of and I'll like look in and out. I'll be back on my laptop doing something. And then there are shows that I don't turn away. But then I
Mhm.
also want to include things like how well it's being written, and then if the show's very specific on something. So if it's comedy, I'll rate the comedy. If it's an harem anime, I'll rate how well the ecchi's put together. If there's an action anime, I'll rate how good the fight scenes are.
Yeah,
Because I think there's a lot more to offer with a show than just the one subject, and I think people make the mistake of assuming that a show is pigeonholed by one thing it does well.
yeah. Well,
To
of
be fair,
course,
though, there are a lot of anime that do pigeonhole themselves intentionally because they know that all they have is the one thing.
like being a Yuri anime.
Well, that's the thing. Like, there most of these examples are like I do fully admit harem animes because harems are intrinsically sexualized, and then some shows don't even really do anything beyond that because they figure that's all it needs to sell. Which in some cases is true. High School DxD is a great example of that.
Yeah. Eventually, I just got to the point where I'm just bored with all the stuff. And like they kind of overplayed their hand with that etchy shit, and like
And there's nothing wrong with it, but the thing is like now
moderation.
now well if the first thing I'd ever watched was High School DxD, maybe I could have hung on to it. But because I know there's so many other harems out there and that have so much more to offer in terms of either good story, good comedy, good characters, good writing, interesting concepts, like there's other shows I can go to, and I don't need to go to this obvious one. In the same light that I don't need to go to a show like what Masogaku and HXH was, or
Yeah, that one went a little bit too far for my taste.
I'm trying to think. Testament of Sister New Devil was doing well, and then it just bored the shit out of me, so I dropped that.
Mhm.
There are shows that try to be a
I
little
know.
bit more, but they try too hard, and all they end up being is just a show that can't figure out what it wants to be and just has a lot of etchy in it.
Well, you
Which is
have,
even worse than a show that just knows that it's just endless etchy and that's all it is. Because at least it revels in that.
yeah. Well, you weren't here when I was talking to Lionel, so here's the reason why I don't like Yuri anime. They kind of short sell the idea that these girls are actually lesbians by putting them in all girls school. So they,
Yeah,
so
it's
they,
kind of cheating.
so it's basically like they're prison gay. Like their only option is another girl. I would
See,
actually,
Ibn Israel's had it right. They broke the mold. They threw one guy in there, and now everybody wanted to fuck the one dude.
yeah. Well, it's kind of like that's a plot point of basically Princess of Evangel. That's a visual novel.
Yeah.
Basically, all the girls are basically prison gay because they're not around any boys, and
Well, I think it's a running joke because I've seen people comment as like, man, it's so dumb that every girl wanted to sleep with Ichigo and Infinite Strauss. I'm like, okay, well, let's look at it this way, folks. You're up until the first episode of that show, there is no guy remotely near you. And for all we know, these girls all live on this campus and they don't usually go home for a while.
hmm
So one guy shows up, and I would totally understand the argument if the guy wasn't Ichika, who is an extremely good looking dude. Like, sure, he's a bit of a aloof, but that's just standard.
hmm
But in terms of looks, the guy's got the goods. He's everything that your average straight girl is going to want to go for. So there's no shock in that every girl, assuming they would be straight. That's the only downside, is that they make the assumption that every girl is either bi or straight.
hmm
I guess there's not one girl just interested in only scissoring on that show.
I know, because that's basically what drives me crazy about like Yuri anime. Every one of them, it's an all-girls school, and like, yeah, I'm not buying these girls are lesbians. They're go to an all-girls school.
You're like, I could buy a couple of them, but I can't buy the entire campus.
Yeah, that's kind of what makes it hard for me to really give Citrus a chance because I've learned that basically they go to an all-girls school. Like Yeah,
I just gave it up because after 2 episodes, I'm like, wow, really? People are actually applauding rape, basically. But because it's 2 girls, it's okay.
stunning and brave, stunning and brave. It's the current year.
Like that. Oh my God. I can never say enough about how much the way people were reacting to that show at first were just royally
I know.
pissing me off.
Well, Crunchyroll basically acts like it's a brand new thing. Like, you do realize that Sailor Moon, Sailor Neptune, and Sailor Uranus were lesbians, right?
Well, it's also like thinking that there's never been such thing as a Yuri anime to begin with.
I know.
Like, sure, there may not be as many animes, but fuck, there's a load of visual novels and light novels and manga to kind of cover that shit.
I know. Here's the big thing about stuff like that. Shonen Ai, it's a little bit more believable because there's actually girls around them.
But I mean, let's look at it. It's the same way that WWE does, for example, with all their new firsts. Like, oh, it's the first women's battle royal at WrestleMania. I'm like, no, that's not true. That you did the one at the 25th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Like the people when they're quote unquote at the top, they like to just make shit up just because they can say, oh, it's the first this, and it gets buzz. And I'm sure Crunchyroll's doing that because they're essentially still at the top of the anime service market for here in North America. So they're like, oh, see, it's such a big deal. This has never happened before. And we're like, no, dumbasses. You just haven't noticed that it's been done before.
Well, Crunchyroll's got a bunch of normies working for them, so they just don't know.
Well, yeah, when you're the majority of your staff. See, this is the problem. Like, for example, if I wanted to go work at a local radio station here in Toronto that does sports, you have to know every sport. You have to know something about football. You have to know stuff about hockey, baseball, basketball, golf, whatever. Crunchyroll, it looks like to me, is that they're interviewing people and all they're doing is people are saying, I watch Attack on Titan or I watch Naruto, and they're not asking them anything beyond that.
Yeah.
It really does get that feeling that their staff is only there for like the top 5.
You need deep sector weaves. Like someone like me that after watching 3 episodes, March Comes Like a Lion, went on the manga, read every volume until he ran out.
I don't even think you need to go that far. You just need to have people that are actually willing to not even to watch shows that some people wouldn't know of, but to at least be open enough to say it. Like, how many of these people, like, it's the same argument that we had a while ago with the whole celebrities coming out and saying, oh, I watch Attack on Titan, where I'm like, just once, can I have one person just come out and say, I've watched Amagi Brilliant Park, just out of nowhere?
Yeah, that's one of those things that still drives me crazy.
And literally, I'm not saying that show for any reason other than it was just the first random show that came to my head.
Yeah, because that's really got under my skin. You had John Boyega and all these other celebrities, and they're just like us. They watch, and like, no, that's just like the stuff that you go see on Hulu. If you just go to their top picks and instead go to the A to Z.
It's like what I said. I have no problem with you liking Attack on Titan, Naruto, and others, but stop pretending like that makes you an anime fan just because you can name the top 10.
I know, it's
if you can throw shows like Chunibyo out there, if you can throw throws like Denki Guy or Demi-chan, like stuff like that, like if you can throw stuff that maybe some people haven't heard of before because it's not literally on the front page of anime websites every day,
you
might have a shot at it. If somebody name drops Fully Coolly, I will fucking hug them.
See, if someone says they watch like half of Monogatari, I'm like, yeah, he's our guy. Because getting past the first season is just like, because it's hard, because there's sometimes you have to pause it because there's a bunch of text on the screen and like it's going by too fast, and so it makes it slower.
No, I'm not saying I want people to come out of the woodwork and be like, yeah, I watch High School of the Dead, and I'm like, yeah, we don't need guys going out and just literally saying all they watch is raunchy anime either, but we need to have a bit of a variance.
That is one of the worst animes that ever exist.
It just needs to be at a point where people are at least openly name dropping shows that people have to actually Google for once.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of like I saw recently I saw people talking recently about like comic books, like saying that people that are like over 20 and care that much about comic books have problems. Like, how do you think the comic book industry will keep alive if people over 20 don't care about? You gotta sell them somehow. You gotta make them somehow. These people have to care about whether they're going to be selling or not. You can't just say that about comic books. They're not just for children.
Well, in all honesty, the last time they were really for children was way back in like the 60s when they needed to be like very positive about shit.
Yeah, that's a shit that pisses me off. Like you see Guy McGinnis and other people say they make out like video games are just for children. And like, what the fuck did you just say? Here's Manhunt. Is that for children? You're playing a fucking serial killer.
Well, the thing is, and this is what infuriates me, is that anybody that says this X is for kids, every single piece of entertainment out there has been adapted to be for any age demographic.
Uh-huh.
Video games are available for every demographic out there, and that includes people over the age of fucking 85.
Yeah.
We have games that anybody at any age can enjoy now. In the same light that there are comics basically for anyone out there. The problem is that no one wants to look for them anymore. They just want it, literally the mainstream stuff to be for them. That's all they want.
I know. Here's an issue with Marvel. They brought in a stupid woman who wants to make it into a lifestyle brand, and like people don't read Marvel to read about gay interests and other shit.
Well, and it's not to say that they wouldn't, but it has to be done properly and naturally, whereas it's so forced.
I know. They just randomly make Iceman to a gay guy. Basically, Jean Grey did conversion therapy on him. And if it was like the opposite, they took like, let me think, North Star. Because he's the only gay character I can think of off the top of my head. And Jean Grey just said, "You're straight." People would be losing their shit because she made him straight.
And that's the thing. It's like, I don't understand why people just can't create. That's the problem. The people who are writing are not creating. They're just changing.
Well,
that's their idea now, is to change what the old guard used to be. We're breaking tradition. It's like that only works so many times before, instead of breaking new ground, you're just pissing your old fan base off.
Well, it's like when I did the Two Bastards with Brock, as I pointed out, how insulting it might be to like minorities that there's basically saying you can't make it on your own. Here, have Captain America's identity. And by the way, we're going to make him a Nazi, literally a Nazi now, so Sam Wilson can be believed as the new Captain America. Like, that's not how you do it. You make Sam Wilson into a believable character on his own.
And here's the thing, too. It's like, when it comes to any character that is over 50 years old, you don't change that shit.
No.
You make something new. Like, Spider-Man has very different people that have donned the suit. You don't just suddenly be Captain America's this guy now when the other one is still alive. Or it's like, I don't know.
I know, that's kind of how it is, because when you're going to make a new Spider-Man movie, all these people are freaking out because they made Spider-Man white. Well, it's not Miles Morales, it's Peter Parker. It's just like,
it's to the point now that I don't even think it's true outrage anymore. I think it's literally just it's
look at me, I'm throwing a tantrum activism.
Not even that. I think they I'm not going to say this goes for everybody. I think the core people that are at the head of things know that what they're doing is bullshit.
It really is. It's just like,
but they've gotten away with it, and they're seeing how much more they can, because it's obviously pushing their agenda, and they're getting more clicks out of it. They're getting more donations from it.
Mm-hmm. I just don't like the idea of changing everything that people know about a character. Like, yeah, people are going to lose their shit because a character they like from comic books is going to be made into a insert minority here because we need to have a racial quota or something like that.
Well, and it's like that running trend too, like you were saying earlier. If the scales get flipped, what happens? Like, if all of a sudden somebody goes, you know what, we're going to take Samus and turn him into a guy now.
Mm-hmm.
People would lose their fucking shit.
I know. It's just, well,
it goes with everything. Like, if we change anything that's a woman into a guy, or somebody that's a not white race into a white person, they would freak. But because of it's the other way around, it's okay. I don't give a shit what people say about the whole, well, you know, in the past it was just completely whitewashed. I'm like, yes, it's sure, you're absolutely right, it was whitewashed. But you hold that history and you write stuff that's better than history has already had.
Here's the thing I really hate is when they say X character isn't, their character is not defined by them being white. And I was like, okay, then why have they be black?
Like, well, that's the thing.
They get well.
Is Superman defined by the color of his skin? Is Batman defined by the color of his skin? Is
Not
Captain
real.
America defined by the color of his skin? Hell, let's go to video games. Is Lara Croft defined by the color of her skin? No, none of them are.
That reminds me of something I remember. Stupid. I remember seeing on the internet like a few months back. Steven Spielberg said that it's time for Indiana Jones to be a woman. Like, well, that's already been done. It's called Tomb Raider.
And I would also say, okay, if you want to make a female Indiana Jones movie, call her something else.
Yeah, but technically it's been done.
But no, it's not that. It's literally they
Yeah,
want to be able to mooch off a license so they don't have to do the work in advertising it.
yeah, it's kind of
Because
what.
it's a lot easier to make a movie that's Indiana Jones, but she's a woman, rather than have to put some work into your fucking film and making a character that people actually want to go see on its own new merit. They don't want to put the work in to create a new IP. They just want to mooch off something else so they don't have to throw that much work into it.
Yeah, because here's the thing about like Star Wars. They're doing that shit, and here's where a lot of people who get it wrong about like Star Wars. Star Wars is not defined by the fucking Skywalkers. Because Ryan Johnson did have a good idea about doing something new in a different part of the universe without Skywalkers in it. That's the only good thing I'll say about him.
What's the thing?
Because
They started off well. The episode 7 was good.
yeah,
Like everybody seems to think that everybody's just shitting on all of Star Wars right now. No, they're shitting on episode 8.
mm-hmm.
That's what they're shitting on. Because episode 7 didn't insult the fans. Episode 8 literally goes out of its way to insult the fans that have been watching ever since
Well,
the
episode
originals.
7 is kind of like a redo of A New Hope.
Which isn't. This is the thing. Anybody who says it's a ripoff, it's only a ripoff if it's done badly.
Yeah,
They did a pretty good job of recreating New Hope. So it's not a ripoff so much as it's an homage.
yeah. But when these people say that make out like Star Wars has to have the Skywalkers in it, have they ever heard of the Old Republic games? Because those don't have any Skywalkers in it. It's set back when they had all these Sith lords. That's what I would like to see in the movie.
I think what they tried to do though is with these movies is they wanted to specifically wanted to make their own version, so they felt they had to use all the old stuff so that they could create the world that they wanted. So you're going to have to use the Skywalkers on that basis. Naturally, they raped the shit out of it, out of the name, and just completely fucked it so that it's completely useless now.
I know.
All we're going to remember from these new movies is that apparently Luke Skywalker loves drinking tit milk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, alien tit milk.
Yeah, that shit just got on my nerves a little. I didn't even watch the movies. I heard everything I could about because I don't really do movies anymore. And just like, ugh, are they even trying?
Oh, I think they're trying. They're just trying in the wrong way.
Yeah, they're trying to run into the ground.
Not intentionally, but they're doing a damn good job of it.
They're trying to put a square peg through a round hole.
Well, basically, what they want to do is they want their own vision to Star Wars, and the problem is that vision that they have is not going to work within that universe. It might work for a different kind of movie, but it's sure as shit not going to work.
Much like Star Trek Discovery.
Well, this is the thing. Like, they're trying to do the whole, for example, they're doing the diversity thing. Star Trek, if they really wanted to look back to good diversity in space, look at Star Trek. But their idea is just, oh, we need to have, diversity apparently in the Star Wars universe means women are fighting men over power. It's like, no.
It's been established what they really mean by diversity is just have a bunch of black people.
Not even that. It's just not white male.
I know.
Where I think people need to kind of go back to the dictionary and see what the definition of diversity actually is.
Mm-hmm. I do get tired of all this forced diversity because it just makes things worse.
It's not even that it makes it worse so much as that what they're doing is they're concentrating more on that aspect rather than just writing good characters. Because I don't think there would ever be a problem with all these changes that we're seeing in various games being a lot more racially diverse. The problem is they're not putting any work into the universe. They're not putting any work into the characters.
Yeah, it's kind of an issue because there's some real things that have been kind of realistic on. Like, they always try to go with this one woman can beat 20 armed men
Well, let's just
barehanded.
here's a great example. How many people love Grand Theft Auto San Andreas? And I tell you that number is huge.
Yeah.
Does it have anything to do with the fact that that game is majority black?
No,
No,
I
no, it
remember.
really doesn't.
I remember when that game came out. I was going to community college, and there's these girls I knew. And they were pretty much racist because they were just disgusted by the idea that Carl was black. And like, I just pointed out to them, it's about gangbangers in the '90s. It'd be kind of weird to see a white guy in a street gang because you know that white guy is probably Trevor Phillips.
Yeah.
He'd be a fucking lunatic that they were all scared of.
But it's just the idea that like there have been so many examples before all of this bullshit where either we've had games where women are the leads, we've had games where not white people are the leads, and they're good games, and it has nothing to do with the race. In the same way that all these games that have been white guys in the lead have not been a great selling game because of who's the character. It's literally just because the writing is solid, the game is good. It has nothing to do with who's on the screen. Like any game could be good with a black male at the lead. Any game could be amazing with a Japanese woman as the lead. The writing is what does that. The writing, the gameplay, the story, the universe that surrounds everything is what defines that game.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing. You gotta have a good story. It doesn't matter if you got women or strong black lead and shit like that. If the story sucks, no one's going to play it.
Well, remember, this is a video game. This isn't a movie where it's 2 hours, it doesn't demand too much of you, or like a 30-minute TV show. This is a game that usually these games span 20, 30, 50, 100 hours in some cases.
Yeah.
You need to be able to keep that player invested. And if your sole idea of keeping that player invested is, look, it's a black woman at the front, isn't that great for diversity? That doesn't sell a game. And we've learned that with a lot of games that have been coming out recently where they're not selling. Same
Pretty
goes
much.
for films. I mean, there is the go woke, go broke thing. I don't like the term to begin with because I think going woke and going broke is meaning they're just doing diversity for the sake of doing diversity. And I think not every single case is that they're using the term is actually accurate.
What happened with Telltale wasn't go woke, go broke. It's make visual novels, but the choices you make made no impact on the story overall.
Oh yeah, well that and they decided to make games off of a bunch of intellectual property they don't own.
Yeah.
And never was able to sell anything that, because that's the thing. Everybody's like, oh, somebody can buy out Telltale and they'll keep them going. Telltale isn't worth a fucking dollar.
No, their concept is good, but here's the problem. I don't know if you saw this Cheshire Cat Studios videos on it, but your choices don't mean jack shit when you get to the end.
Oh, dude,
Nothing
like
changes.
first season of Walking Dead, I was so stressed out with every decision. And then by the end of the game, when I realized it didn't matter because everybody died anyway, I went into the second season and I was just like, I'm going to be a self-preserving piece of shit. And look, lo and behold, everybody dies again. What a shock.
I know. It's just like, because because people say they combine actual gameplay with a visual novel. I'm like, no, motherfucker. Visual novels, your choices actually result in you going down a different path. Like the Magikoi visual novels. You make certain choices, you'll be put on a route with one of the 5 or 6 girls.
That's the thing. Like you play Walking Dead, doesn't really matter what decision you make. It just means this person will die sooner than this one will.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it really is. Like one of the first major decisions you get in the game is to save either Carly or I can't remember what the dude's name is. But you had a choice between saving a woman and a guy. And in most cases, you pick the woman because she was a quasi love interest with the main character at that point. So there was actual reason to save her. Doesn't matter. Either one of them you save gets killed like literally 10 minutes later. It does not matter. And it keeps doing that.
That's kind of the thing. Like, there's just one of those things I don't like is because like Deus Ex, I'm at the choice because I got Mankind Divided a few weeks back. I was kind of stuck because I don't know which way to go because once you go to the person who set up the bomb, the other one's like part of the overarching story, so I don't know which one to do. That's when your decisions matter, and because it'll alter your gameplay. Sort of like Skyrim and choosing between what were the Stormcloaks and the Imperials.
Well, and the thing is, like with what I said earlier with Walking Dead, with the choose someone to save thing, that the one doesn't matter because in 10 minutes it's taken away from you. Mass Effect 1, you choose between Caden and Ashley. That decision matters because that character lives for the rest of the trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
That means something.
Yeah,
Decisions that happen in Mass Effect, even though people talk shit about whatever with the final game, but like the majority of decisions that you make in that game have not only have lasting impact, but will be constantly reminding you of them.
yeah.
By
It's
the
kind of,
Walking Dead doesn't give a shit. By the time you finish making a massive decision, it's on to the next scene, and you're not talking about it ever again.
well, I remember Lappy Man from CCS pointed out that no matter what he did in Tales from the Borderlands, it, his decisions were going to get him anywhere.
Yeah,
You,
it's
you still get friend zoned by the girl, and I was
like
like,
realistically, Telltale games are choose your own adventures that still lead to the same last page anyway. The
yeah,
only difference is the lines that you'll read on the
yeah,
way there. That's really the only difference with Telltale games. You're just going to hear different dialogue from different characters if you choose something. That's all it is.
it's just stupid that they thought that was a feasible way to do things.
And it would have been a feasible way to do it if they only did one game a year rather than like 5.
Yeah, it's
People
kind of
catch. People are pretty like. Here's the thing. Even normal people are pretty good at recognizing patterns. We're not that stupid. So if you keep releasing basically the same game with the same graphical engine, people are going to figure out that you got nothing.
yeah,
You have no cards in your hand. You're
it's
not
kind of like
holding anything.
it's sort of like how most people figured out game theory is going to just overreach and overanalyze everything. And of course, they're going to do like 20 videos on Five Nights at Freddy's.
Well, yeah, but that's also because the fans demand it, right? They are a supply and demand kind of channel.
Yeah, but one thing that just got maybe get tired of them was they did the thing and trying got some kind of head canon that Rosalina was Luigi and Peach's daughter or something like that, like because of the shape of her ears and then like, uh, I could tell you probably were forced to play Luigi a lot as a kid, and you're just trying to justify your role and everything.
I don't know. I think you might be looking a little bit too far into that yourself.
Yeah, probably. But now that really matters anymore because apparently Mario's going to be with Bowsette.
Speaking of which, how long do you think this is going to go for? Do you think this has lasting power?
It might, but apparently this has been around for a long time because there's like a hentai dojo posted like 8 months ago where Bowser got turned into a girl.
Well, yeah, but this is a literal thing that just happened like a week ago.
Yeah,
That the real craze is just happening.
I know. And it's just like I liked it at first with that little comical Bowser deciding that he'll be the girlfriend.
Look, I'm good with any excuse to have like a punk rock looking Peach. I'm good with that.
And then a few days later, I'm like, I'm already bored of this. It's everywhere.
Well, it's like anything else. Now they're just adapting other stuff. Obviously, you're seeing booze that now, and it's just going to keep expanding. It's
like,
going to eventually cross over with other stuff too.
It's pretty much like what Sargon did with the Kekistan meme, where it got ran into the ground really hard.
That's the thing. I look at what's going on right now with Bowsette, and I think this may have like a month's worth of staying power, and then it's going to completely disappear.
Yeah.
There's very few cases of characters that really do last in terms of the fan art. I think Hestia has been one of the very few ones that I saw so much of, and it hasn't stopped.
Hestia has trying to
Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? Lolly big
Oh,
boobs. She's still going.
yeah.
Same with even though I haven't watched ReZero, I still see a shit ton of Rem art constantly.
Yeah, well, that stuff will never really fully die, especially
There are some characters that just nobody gets bored of
Yeah.
drawing. So,
especially since Don Machi's getting a second season. So,
well, I mean, technically they've already had a prequel season, which I still have to watch. But yeah, I'm excited to hear they're finally putting a second season forward.
That was based off the spin-off about Eyes.
Yeah, Sword Oratoria.
Here's a funny thing about the mobile game. When I went into the mobile game, I start hating Lefia right away, and now I get excited if I pull her in a gotcha.
I'm still not so much with her, but that's also just because I have way too many other characters that are above her.
I know. I just I think it's because of that.
If I want enough, I'm going straight to Ryu. So
Well, Rio's best girl.
that's exactly why.
She's because I posted once. I think I took the cover of like the Rio side story and I posted on because people always argue over who's the best girl, Eyes or Hestia. And like I just posted, I just like the me colon. And I just post a picture of Ryu like because she's the best girl.
The only problem is they didn't give her very good. They don't give her very good summer stuff.
No, I do like how the mobile games basically ships every girl with him with
Well,
Belle
makes sense.
because I can't remember which event it was, but Leffy is just bothered by all these girls going after Belle. Like, why does it bother you? I thought you would want him with some other girl. That way he's away from eyes.
That's the other thing too. That this game made me appreciate Eyes a lot more because goddamn, they make some good costumes with her.
Yeah, she's cute and all, but her personality is just like she's kind of well, she is an airhead, so
Yeah, but you get her with Splash Princess or the newer one, the Summer Princess one, and I'm like, okay, I get it. She's drop dead gorgeous.
yeah.
I'm starting to look through all of them now. Like, yeah, Leffy is just meh. I mean, I use her because she's one of the best mages in the game, but
Well, what to do Halloween gotcha? I'd brand one that has higher chances of getting her or the non-vert. I think there's like the second one that has like her, the non-version of Riviera and
yeah.
Data.
The only thing I will give them shit for is that they've now had 2 years of summer content and they still haven't done even a Bell costume yet.
I know
And that's the thing too.
they
Like,
got the
I'm not trying to play the diversity thing, but like, if you are a show that has just a shit ton of guy characters too, stop being lazy.
I know because they got the sprite for like the because they used that during the summer event, but they didn't actually make it a- attainable or anything.
Well, it was like when people were getting mad at Tekken for having swimsuit DLC, and I said, "Motherfucker, they do it for everybody. All the guys do it. The robot and even the panda character have their own stuff. They're not fucking around. Get mad at the shows that only make swimsuit content for the girls. That's when I fully allow people to do that. Because if you have male lead characters too, you put
Well,
them in that shit too.
let me see if I can find some art from Kingsray. I'll throw up on the screen.
And the thing is, like, some people give me the argument, like, well, the game's more directed to a male audience. I'm like, guys, if you're that fucking embarrassed to look at a dude in shorts, you like get a grip.
Well, Kingsray,
And this is coming as a guy even before he started being a little bisexual. Like this even as a straight guy would have been like, dude, it's a fucking guy in a speedo. Chill.
okay, I'm gonna throw up the screen share so I can show you. See, Kingsray, they're pretty big on gender diversity.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck. They just throw everything in there.
Yeah.
Grand Blue Fantasy is pretty good for as well. I'm waiting to see what the new Cygames Nintendo mixture Dragalia Lost has. I have just opened it. It's not available in Canada, but I figured a way to get around it because it doesn't take much. I mean, I like the designs from what I see so far, but I want to see what they do with it.
Yeah, see, they pretty much do a good job of representing both genders.
The only thing that I give a little bit of crap for, and I've written articles about this before, is that I do despise the fact that all anime tries to do with the male characters for swimsuit episodes is give them the baggiest, like most boring pair of shorts possible.
Well, Kingsray, they gave some of the guys like speedos.
Yeah, that I give props to because most of the time they don't do that,
Yeah,
and it drives me nuts.
yeah.
It's like if you're gonna hypersexualize everything, you hypersexualize the male lead. Fuck off. Put
Well,
some work. Have
what
some fucking balls.
I know. That's kind of the thing about Kingsray. They hypersexualize everyone. Because at
Well,
one
and
point,
again, it just comes to that thing where I feel like there's a fear from the writers or the producers that are like, well, we are directing this for a more male audience. If we start showing guys in sexual appealing clothing, they'll be like, oh, it's disgusting. It's like, yeah, well, if they do, those are audience members you don't want. Just stop.
hmm oh, by the way, this is kind of interesting. The kill stream or Ralph Torton and his crew, they did like a charity stream yesterday.
Yeah, you were mentioning that.
They made 26,000 for St. Jude. That's insane.
We surprisingly make shit tons of money for people. Just take a look at the fucking summer and winter games done quick, or awesome games done quick.
Yeah, but it's just interesting because this is like Ralph Tour, and he brought in like harmful opinions. But Keemstar was supposed to be there, but he didn't show up because of the first hour he had like atheism is unstoppable and Mark Collette, and they were arguing about the Holocaust. I think that scared Keemstar off.
I mean, even then, it's just like we do have people in all facets that are willing to put money towards a good cause. It doesn't matter what we believe in. It doesn't matter what we enjoy. There's always good in everybody, and I think that's something that really does show in something like the Ralph Retort stuff. I don't even watch the content from that stuff, but I know enough to know that obviously there are a lot of people that hate on that kind of content. And look, you can disagree with people whoever you want, but at the end of the day, we're all still human beings and we're all still good people.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that drives me nuts with the way that people treat everybody. It's like we're all still good people. Like we're not all trying to completely destroy the human race. Like fucking chill.
Well, here's another thing about that. Ralph wanted Sargon to come on and just talk his problems out with Mr. Manicure. And
you knew that wasn't going to happen.
I know. Basically, people are saying that Sargon doesn't care about kids with cancer because he's just like, because this kind of helped Sargon's image. Because I don't know if you know this, but he's debating like a white nationalist or something like that, like 6 months back.
Oh yeah, didn't he debate Richard Spencer on Worski stream?
Yeah, I don't know if that was when he said the white niggers line, but
I don't know.
But that stuff
I know of the streams that he did with this kind of stuff, but I'd never watch any of them because I just don't care.
Yeah, I don't really get into the whole ethno-state argument shit because that's why when I didn't watch Warski, because it's the same argument every time.
Well, I also have to make just the simple statement. It's like people are still trying to make a big scene that like the alt-right is a big deal. It's like, how many people do you think truly believe in a white ethno-state? And I guarantee that number is so minuscule, and there's a reason for that. Is because any rational person would hear just the idea of that and just immediately turn around and walk away. Because why the hell would you even be near that?
I know. I don't believe in a white ethno-state because I like Japanese girls.
Well, yeah, you're certainly not going to enjoy Aldius in a white ethno-state, are you?
No, I won't. I won't be allowed to. But that's because I was mentioning Kickstand on a server one night. And this person told me tried to say that it's used by right-wing shit posters. Like, no, it's used by a bunch of leftists.
Well, I mean, anybody who's right to the extreme left is now a conservative these days. So
I know. Yeah, that's one of those things that still gets under my skin. Like, why do people listen to the Southern Poly Law Center? Because their whole how they make money is based off of how racist people are. They can't let racism die because that's how else are they going to make money?
It's even funny when they even side with certain things that we agree with, and then people are always like, "Well, no, they're just skewing the words of this." It's like, oh, so it only works if they do do something you like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what I mean, right? Like, I'm not going to pretend that neither of us are biased either in whatever we do, but I try my ass off to, at the very least, be open to what the other side says first before I make a conscious decision on it.
Well, that's kind of thing like internet blood sports. What most people don't realize is that it is about having people talk to each other. You can't just keep hurling insults at one another and expect things to change. You eventually have to speak to one another like adults.
Well, you wonder why there is such a backlash right now to extreme left content, because all this side of the political equation is trying to do right now is just demean every single person they come across. They don't want to debate them. They just want to completely just bury them under the ground so they don't have to deal with them.
Well, they call everyone racist. It's like, because people...
to be fair, people to the far right for a good chunk of time, and they're starting to get a little better with it, is all they would do is call people cucks, snowflakes, and SJWs, because that's all they had to. What's happening, though, is that the right is at least making a conscious decision to at least do a little fact-checking first, whereas the alt-left, for example, is not. They're still just abiding by what they think and nothing more. And then
Yeah,
all people like me that are sitting somewhere around the center are just looking at both directions, being like, "Can one of you guys just fucking shut up for a minute?"
I know that's kind of the thing. Like a lot of problems in our like America with political divide is that no one on the left wants to talk to people on the right. They just want to cause Nazi, literally Hitler, alt right. And I'm like,
No one's interested in actually putting knowledge and ideas into the fray. They just feel like they can have a moral superiority to it.
yeah, like here's the thing. I'm part Mexican. I don't think the alt right would have me. I'm
Let's
not
think.
racially pure enough.
See, I can't trust the words of any side like the alt left that calls a Jewish person a Nazi.
Like Ben Shapiro.
It's really hard to take that side seriously, but not to mention the alt right is just as retarded too with this kind of stuff, where they call anybody, you know, a fucking communist just because they disagree with them too. Like both sides are guilty for doing some stupid shit.
The only communists I know of are in Antifa.
But that's what I mean, right? Like you're gonna see people that like. Do I agree with everything? Say, for example, Bill Maher says no. But am I going to sit here and say he's an SJW or a fucking communist or like an alt left? No. In the same vein that I'll listen to Ben Shapiro and not think that he's a Nazi or an alt right supporter or anything like that. It's just like not everybody's going to have the same idea or perceptions of things that you are. So you need to take what they say, okay, can I relate to any of this or do I agree with any of this? And you start going down the list. I'm like, no, no, no. Okay, I kind of can see that. Yeah, you know what? I agree with that.
Well,
The problem
Sam,
is the alt left doesn't give a shit, and the alt right doesn't give a shit. All they hear is the sound of their own voice. They're talking into a mirror.
well, as Sam High puts it about like the far left, these people want you broke, dead, and your children brainwashed and raped, and they think it's funny.
Well, the thing is that right now we're in a state where the extreme left is the one in control of
The schools.
yeah. So what's happening is you're breeding right now a bunch of very well, they may not turn out to be extreme leftists, but they're being bred to at least vote Democrat when they are of age. And
Yeah, because
what's
they don't.
happening is you're getting either the indoctrinated people or you're getting the ones that are just too retarded to understand any idea, and they just happen to vote Republican right now.
Yeah, I.
The percentage of people that are making level-headed decisions when they vote these days is so minuscule that I don't think they're a factor anymore.
Well, here's the problem with like politics in America. People in my country, they see some idea came from California, and they think it's a great idea. Like California banned drinking straws. Those aren't the people we should be taking ideas from.
Well, it's just the idea that right now I feel like I don't know what it's like in Canada still because I haven't quite got a view of what our national politics are becoming. But I'm looking at the states, and I look at the way that the next election is going to go. I think it's going to be which side has more population voting for them, because I don't think either side of the political spectrum is going to listen to a damn thing the other has to say
Well,
in this
now you
upcoming
mentioned that,
election.
they'll kind of bring up this really stupid shit I always see. Them whining about how people that live in rural areas of the country have just as much a say in who's president rather than the people living in the big cities. And here's the thing: they call this empty land. This is where all the food comes from. This is where a lot of tax revenue comes from because a lot of these people own like the mineral rights.
Well, the irritating thing is that, like, I've had conversations with people that think the Electoral College is bullshit, and I said, no, the exact reason that the Electoral College exists is so that the vote isn't literally just limited to New York, Chicago, and fucking
L.A.
LA, because that's literally like a good 15-20% of the population alone. Like, the
Yeah,
Electoral College exists so that people in Des Moines or people in rural fucking Kentucky actually feel like they matter.
yeah, that's the kind of thing. Because while we don't have as many people, we do provide stuff for the rest of the country. We grow the food.
Well, it's just the reality. If it was just a popular vote, like all you have to do, like politicians would never go out to Utah or Oregon or whatever. Like they literally just would focus around the big states. They'd focus around like not even a third of the country.
And here's the thing: you can only get away with that popular vote shit for so long before people start getting pissed off about how they're treated. And and here's another thing: there's a reason why what we have are called states. They're like miniature countries, basically.
Yeah.
It's based off the city states setup. Each of us is like our own little republic.
And the fact that there are people that don't like how the way things are set up, like it even goes here in Canada. Like when we got what people call Trump light here in the province of Ontario, I had an argument with one of my friends who was really pissed off that obviously this guy got voted and he's a conservative. We have one of our parties which are called the New Democrat Party, which is a much I consider them a slightly more extreme version of what the regular left is. But here where I live, the NDP got every single seat that's in this area. And my friend's like, I can't believe they got this guy in. And I'm like, motherfucker, you don't have to worry about shit at least where you fucking live because the party that you like has every seat in it. So at least be okay in the fact that the city that you live in is going to at least be ruled under the leadership that you wanted.
Well, that's one of those things that really irritates me about like celebrities in America. They're always bitching about how Ted Cruz got elected in Texas. Like you see, like Cher and John Legend and other idiots pointing about who Texans voted for. You don't even live in Texas. You don't get a say in who they elect.
Well, that's the thing is they're like, you see people after when Trump got elected, or you see people after when Doug Ford here in Ontario got elected. They're like, oh, I guess that means Ontario is a much more racist province than we thought. It's like, no. Can we stop just assuming that because they didn't vote the way you wanted to, that all of a sudden there's something wrong?
That's
like maybe just the candidate that you voted for wasn't as popular or as well liked as you thought.
Well, you know about Sheriff Joe, right?
Yeah.
That's a thing that gets on my nerves. You see these people don't live in Maricopa County. They're always bitching about how he treated like people that are in his jail. Like, I think he's. Here's my stance on like jail. It shouldn't be a pleasant experience. It should like be so horrible you never want to get arrested again. Maybe
No,
turn
I
your
mean,
life around.
it depends on what we're talking because I mean, at some point you do have to treat people somewhat humanely, but
Yeah, but
yeah,
also,
like for example, there's a story going around here right now where in 2009 this woman lured a 9-year-old girl into their car and she had a man with her and the man raped the girl and then she beat this 9-year-old to death with hammers. And this woman has a 25-year sentence. She's already been moved from a maximum security prison into what they call an Aboriginal healing house because it helps in the rehabilitation process. And I'm like, motherfucker, she's been only in prison for like what, not even 10 years yet. She hasn't even served half her fucking sentence yet.
she should be in there for life because that's not normal.
Well, yeah, there is also that thing too where it's like she killed a 9-year-old with a hammer. It's like, no, I think 25 years isn't soft enough. But if we're talking like that's the maximum sentence she could have gotten, okay, fine. Then you make sure she deals with that entire sentence. If you want to put her in a rehab center, make it the last year or two, not even halfway in.
Yeah, and back to Sheriff Joe. Basically, a lot of these people that bitched about him, they didn't even live in that area. It's one of those things where, like, if you don't pay taxes in that area, you don't get to cry about who they elect because it's never going to affect you.
That's the thing. When Trump got elected and all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, there must be a bunch of racists in America. I'm like, you don't get to just account for like millions and millions of people that voted. Like, stop.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm pretty sure I made this analogy before, but it literally is like fans of a sports team just getting bitchy because their team didn't win. It really, really does feel that what the Democratic voters, or in my case here in Ontario, the Liberal voters, they're just mad that their team didn't win and they're pitching a hissy fit.
Well, here's the thing about America. Like, people keep act like it should have been Hillary's turn. We don't do things like that. This is not a monarchy.
There's no such thing as a turn.
And here's the thing. Hillary, I'm going to say it, she scared the shit out of me.
Well, here's the reality. Now that we are in a little longer into Trump's presidency, in retrospect, it really is the worst thing that could have happened because it just gave validation to the alt left, the SJW left, for being a victim because they lost. Now, I don't know what it would have been like if Hillary got elected, but all Trump has really done is given them validation to everything that they feel is true.
I know. Well, here's some things that I was scared of her doing, like declaring war on Russia, because
Oh yeah.
She wanted to meddle in Syria. She wanted to raise taxes on the middle class because she actually let that slip. But here's the thing: she probably won't have lived that long because she's not in good health. She felt because I don't know if you saw that, but saw the video where she fell down the
Oh,
stairs
where she was having
twice.
like seizures and shit. Yeah, yeah.
No, I mean she was in like India like a few months back, and she fell down the stairs twice.
Oh, I thought we were talking like during the election where it looked like she was fucking having like
Well,
seizures and
yeah, there was that shit too. Like, and I get that it's probably time that we had a woman for president,
just not her.
just not her, because I don't know if you know like the stories about like how she enabled Bill's raping and
Well, even allegations aside, it's just I think it's at a point now where I think people need to start being a little sick and tired of seeing the same 65-plus-year-old people trying to run for president. Like Obama was supposed to be the hip, new, and cool young guy, and he was still in his 50s when he was running.
I don't know. And the other thing about Hillary is basically the don't know if you know about the Vince Foster's allegations that she had him killed because all of a sudden he randomly commits suicide or they have a falling out.
I mean, I
That's
can't
where,
I can't comment out to allegations like that because fuck, like
but that's where we get a lot of these jokes about how someone just randomly commits suicide with 3 gunshots to the back of the head.
you know.
But that woman scared the crap out of me. It seemed like she acted like it was her birthright. And that's stuff that bothers me when people act like,
It's like, yeah, when you think it's your right to be a president, it's like, ooh, that's some real entitlement there.
yeah, that's stuff that really bothers me. And I get tired of this whole it was her turn. And so
I
they
keep
try,
I, I keep saying like I'm totally for whoever it is being the president of the United States or being the prime minister of Canada or the premier of Ontario where I live. Like, I don't give a shit. Don't care what gender the person is. Don't care what race they are. Don't even care what political party they're affiliated with. But if their platform is something that I'm on board, I'm good. I don't care. If you're going after the things that I want to see, then I'm voting for you.
yeah. And this is what really bothers me is this. You know how they're doing this investigation with Mueller and they got like a short time campaign manager of Trump's on something that he did before Trump even met him. Like, and they're always like, "We finally got Trump." Like, oh, you can't be this fucking stupid. It's just like this Kavanaugh bullshit where they got the third accuser, and you find out that the bitch is fucking crazy, and then you realize because they found this shit out like within an hour of her being revealed, and they find out that she had graduated from high school when Kavanaugh was in his first year of high school, like, and she's going to high school party still. Like, what kind of weird bitch is this?
I don't know. Can't go too far into it because it's just gonna make my brain hurt. It's also
Uh,
it honestly to me too. It's just a waste. It's a waste
well,
of fucking time and thought processing.
I don't understand how Me Too isn't dead yet after Ossie Argento got out as a
Oh, I can
pedophile.
tell you exactly why it's not dead. Is because the media isn't letting it die.
I know.
If remember when the majority of media is a left-leaning organization, they're going to keep pushing this because it still suits their agenda. That's the only reason that it's still going.
Yeah, like I was talking to Lionel on stream. I don't know if we were live or not. Basically about how Tim Pool, Sticks, Hex, and Hammer, and Hard Bastard do a better job covering the news with not even a tenth of the money that these big networks get.
Well, that's the scary part too. Like, I'm a huge Tim Pool guy right now, and the fact that I'm getting my news from a random dude that I had never heard of up until about 2 years ago, I believe is the first time I heard of him. And he's just a random YouTuber that is just a journalist that came off of working for various organizations and got sick and tired of the political bullshit and just decided to cover it as neutrally as he can.
I know it's like Sticks. He does like 3 to 4 videos a day, and he's pretty spot on with his analysis. He does. These guys don't even get that much money. They probably barely get like $10,000 a month. And these big corporations, they got billions, if not billions, and they can't report things accurately.
Well,
So like
because reporting doesn't help, it doesn't do ratings.
I know, like the Statnik shit. They're still running the propaganda about her, like, and a lot of us that follow Twitter and shit like that, like these independent journalists were like, that stuff's been debunked already. Why you keep running with it?
I think now you're starting to see that news corporations are becoming more almost like TV dramas, and it's really fucking strange.
I know they lost it over like when Trump had like some person to do like favorable coverage for him, like they said this is state propaganda. Like, what do you call yourselves?
Well,
You're,
it's just, they can't smell their own shit.
I know. It's like, yeah. Look, here's the thing. I actually feel sorry for Hillary when like the late night shows keep trying her out, enabling her delusions and about how she was screwed. Like, it seems kind of cruel to keep doing that to her.
Well, it's
But
it's it's more just the case that I don't think anybody is willing to admit anymore in these days that they were wrong or that they lose. Like nobody can just admit that they failed
no, it's like,
because apparently that's a sign of weakness. Even though we were literally taught all as kids that it doesn't matter how you win or lose; it's how you play the game.
mm-hmm.
Now we're being taught that it doesn't matter whether you win or lose; you're always special.
I know. I get tired
You,
of.
you were in last place. You were the last winner.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of sad that we're like this anymore. And then if you actually report it, actual things that happen, like, oh, I don't know, that night in Germany when a bunch of 10 Germans went around accosting women, if you follow the meme. I'm not going to say what they were. Not sure if you follow the meme of the 10 Germans.
No, I got no idea on that one.
They belong to a certain peaceful religion.
Ah,
Basically, one night in Germany, a bunch of 10 Germans went around raping women. But
eh,
you're not allowed to bring that up because it's inconvenient because these people are just like us. We need to let them in. Hmm. Yeah, it's just like you can't do that because, like you see Neil deGrasse Tyson. I get that he's a smart guy, but he's an idiot. He says that he has a thing about getting his passport to go see people of the same race on the same planet. Like, they might be the same race, but they're not exactly the same as you. They got different cultural values. When like how normal people they keep calling like anime weeb shit. Like, well, it might look like weeb shit to you, but it's normal for Japanese people. It's not weeb shit. That's just part of their culture. Because we're not the audience for stuff like anime. Some of it translates well, but some of it doesn't. It's just one of those things.
I'm sorry. I'm not like blanking out or anything. I just don't know what else to add to that.
And I don't think we,
I kind of hit a point where I'm like, I got nothing left on that one.
yeah, but that's kind of, I will go back onto the little, because like I like AP from Gulf City, but him always calling stuff like anime stuff like weeb shit. Like, it's not really weeb shit if we're not the target audience. Like, a lot of it might be weeb shit, but Dragon Ball, you don't really know what's based off of. You might think it's weeb shit.
I don't even care if it's weeb shit or not now.
Yeah. At this point, I like anime because it's at least they're trying new stuff instead of rehashing everything they've done before and shoving in a bunch of politics no one asked for.
Well, I love the fact that like people are still so surprised that I either listen to so much Japanese music or watch so much Japanese content or play so much. It's because Japan isn't no well known for like copying pasting.
No.
Here in North America, music is samey. Here in North America, films are very samey. Games are very samey. All the best games, in my opinion, are coming from either Europe or coming from Japan right now.
Yeah. Where I kind of differ from like Razorfist because he bitched about like Ghost of Tsushima because it has the Arkham mechanics in there. And they're like they took something that actually works.
Well, I just look at that game and it looks boring to me.
Yeah,
Honestly, when I saw the trailer, I'm like, that looks like a game that's going to get boring really fast. It's going to get
it
very
might.
samey. That was my worry when I saw that. Also, I just don't trust anybody that isn't a Japanese company doing Japanese stuff.
Yeah,
So,
like Sekiro and what's the other one?
well, Sekiro has a good chance of being fine because it's going to be more of a Dark Souls game than anything else, so it
But
doesn't matter.
it's not really a soul style game. It's not going to be
No,
like
it's being a
not
lot more.
like
I guess like, it's being a lot more kind of like Tenchu, I guess, in a way.
yeah, I hope so because I can't get into the Souls games because you take a step and you're dead.
But that's the thing. Like, I'm looking at Sekiro, that has a pretty good chance of being more than fine. Ghost of Tsushima, I look at, and my first thought is it looks pretty sure, but that thing better have some really good writing into it because I don't think the gameplay is going to sell that game.
What's the other one? There's another samurai style game in there.
Are you talking the other Soulsy one, Neo?
Not really Neo, but I thought there was another one they showed at E3.
Well, Sekiro and Ghost of Tsushima are the only two I can think about.
It's been several months, but
But like for example, if a samurai one,
mm,
I don't trust it.
yeah,
Not even because it's Assassin's Creed, because that's a different story. But I just don't think that the West can handle especially Japanese culture because I don't think they ever seem to understand it.
yeah.
In the same way that Japan has not exactly had a great track record handling Western stuff, which is
No,
why they usually stay away from it because they know they're not very good at it. More actually, no,
yeah.
it's not even that they know they're not good. It's just they don't care about the West.
Well, that's kind of thing that really hurts. Like when we try to do anime in the West, we try to copy paste what they did. Like I watch Chinese anime and they do really well because they insert their own culture into their anime.
Yeah.
What we don't do is we don't put our own culture into our anime because all anime is like at this point I think anime is something of a style. It's not really
There seem to be a lot of people in the West that think the anime style is literally just pertaining to the artwork.
yeah. That's how I look at anime at this point. It's not just something that's from Japan anymore because China's doing it now. At this point, it's something of a unique style because
It's a mixture of the artwork, but it's also an ability to tell a story that has no qualms with going to an extreme, whether it's an extreme on the comedy side, whether it's an extreme on the dramatic side, an extreme on the sexual side, the horrific side.
also
Like,
there's an attention to quality. Like there's good quality artwork with anime.
well, that's the thing. It's like people are so mystified by why people end up being like you see the waifu culture. It's like, how do you think it's so easy to do when anime is such a perfect art form?
I know speaking of like the waifu culture. Like I used to like this YouTuber named Micah Curse, but he gets into these tirades about how people have waifus. Like, why does it bother you? Waifus make these people happy. It's just, and for a lot of these people, what a waifu represents is basically their ideal of the woman they want to marry.
Now it depends on what we're talking though, because if we're talking to somebody that's literally alone and doesn't do anything and literally just lives in a weird delusion that
Yeah, that's not what I mean.
that's if we're just talking like people that are openly talking about like, oh yeah, no, in this show that she's totally my waifu, yeah, no, that's
Yeah, I don't mean
there's
those.
not a goddamn thing wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't mean the degenerates that go in public with their body pillows and shit like that. I mean the guys who like have a because for some people like the waifu, it's something like their ideal of the kind of girl they could go for.
Well, I mean, and anybody who says, you know, the waifu is a problem, they're the same motherfuckers that play fuck Mary Kill with various celebrities that they'll never have a fucking shot in hell at taking.
I
So
know. And here's the thing about waifus: most of what we're attracted to are the personality, not really the body. It's the personalities that we like. I mean,
well, it depends on what anime we're talking about.
yeah, but because basically I'm known as the tsundere guy, basically. that I'm attracted to that kind of personality.
Well, it's funny because I used to do a bunch of articles that were basically the same way. I used to call it "Waifu Friends with Benefit One Night Stand," and it was never about the looks of a character. And hell, half the time it wasn't even necessarily the personality. It was me watching the anime or the game because I did both, and I would look at the character and be like, okay, I know that this is how this person acts. I know this is generally the kind of things this person likes to do. I know that this is the kind of things this person has said to people. And I take all of these little things and I look at it and be like, is this the kind of person that I would actually hang out with? Or is this the kind of person that I'd just be like, I don't really want to be around you?
Yeah, that's
And it did also devolve into, there were some characters that I said, look, I absolutely would totally love to like this character, but this character would slit my throat in an instant. So no.
yeah, it's like the yandere, all these guys that they're always thinking. I had the problem because I like a tsundere. A tsundere would probably hit me at worst. A yandere, she's gonna slit your throat because you looked at another female.
Yeah.
That's kind of the difference. Like these people, they because some of my mutuals on Twitter, they think I know what the problem because I don't like yanderes that much. I only like one, Kurumi.
So let's see. I'm looking up some of the ones that I wrote, and I found one that had a puppet girl. What did I tell? Oh, I gave her a friends with benefits. I didn't give her a waifu. Damn, I was hoping that I gave her a waifu just to piss you off. But no, I for example, I did one for, because I ended up doing 59 of them before I just started running out of ideas and not liking to do them anymore. But I did one for a 50th where I picked 3 that I had not had the chance to do, because I put them in a randomizer. Because if I knew I did all the ones I liked right away, I wouldn't want to write anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I did Tharja from Fire Emblem, and I did put her in waifu tier, even though knowing that she is a crazy woman, I think that the charm that she holds, and this is also because this is the other thing that I did with these kind of articles too, is I went under the assumption that these are not girls that are coming straight from their universe. These are people that would be adapted into real life. So I'm thinking of what Tharja would be like in a real life setting rather than being in her fantasy setting.
Yeah,
and I found there was a lot more like to her that meets the eyes. Just the problem is where she is in Fire Emblem, being basically an evil witch essentially. You kind of put her in a weird spot.
That's kind of thing, like, because I read fan fiction for the fun, but sometimes, well, I find kind of annoying if I'm reading something as you got guys who make their OC and they're being paired with a lot of girls in the series. Like, it's like, because if I do like OCs, I try to make, because I like to give them my hair, I might just start creating my own characters in that universe.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, there are so many characters in various games that I have looked at and said, you know what, this character is really fucking pretty, and you know what, I think there is a good personality there, but she's also just super fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Like, what was an example? Well, I'm trying to think of what one of the examples was of somebody that, like, I really thought I liked, and then in retrospect, I'm like, no, this person would get on my nerves really fucking quickly.
Someone like Lala would get annoying really quick because she's always energetic and her voice would just grate on your nerves after a while. Like, you know, those kind of women that get those Cupid doll voices that they all sound sugary sweet whenever they talk. Like, you'd grow to hate their voice because they're just like, ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, like as much, like for example, I did Hoki for one thing, and I said as much as I love her in terms of how she looks, she's a giant bitch. We would not get along.
No, that's my thing about Hoki, but that while Reen might be a bit of a pain in the ass, she actually has her dare side that comes out more often.
Yeah.
You could actually stand being around her. Hoki, she's just always pissed off, like she's on a period all the time. And you wouldn't want to be around her just because she's a pain in the ass.
Trying to find one that I did where I literally just said no because I know this person's going to kill me. Where's one of them? I know, you know what? I know Tira from Soul Calibur is one of them. I know that for sure. because I fucking love me some Tira, but I know that bitch will slit my throat before I even have a chance to say hello.
Mm-hmm. She'd kill you because it was funny.
Boy, she just feels like doing it.
It's sort of like I'm a big fan of the Tuaru series, and I like Mugino, but she's a hair trigger bitch.
You'll be proud of me. I gave Rory Mercury a waifu.
Yeah, she's more she might kill you, but she's more like she'd rather kill people that might hurt you. That's the difference. Like that's where people get the yandere wrong. You don't want the yandere that's possessive of you. You want the one that's protective of you.
I like what I said on Rory. I said after because I said, well, you know what? By about the amount of time she has left before humanity's completely gone, I probably would be nearly dead by the time that happened. By the time her time's up, so I'm like, that's not the worst thing. But I'm like, the only weird part, she doesn't age. That'll probably get weird once I start turning gray and my skin starts aging, because might be living in solitude with her once I get into my 40s or so.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like, here's the thing about like harem stuff. Like, if it's an isekai, people try to apply our moral standards to that shit. Like, it's a fancy world. Like, because I shipped like Kazuma from Konosuba with Megumi, that I was somehow a pedophile because I shipped a 16-year-old with a 14-year-old.
Well, that's the thing too, is people also just can't seem to get past the fact that most of us do understand that what we're looking at is basically fiction.
I know. And it's not even really that weird because I'm not trying to live through Kazuma. I just think he'd be best with Megumi because Aqua is,
I don't think anybody's good with Aqua. I think that's the problem.
yeah, she's, of course, I was like on Reddit one night because I was bored and somebody is saying, well, in the web novel, which is the original version of the story, Kazuma ended up with Aqua. Like, yeah, but web novels are basically like rough drafts, and a lot of things change between the web novel, then the light novel, then the manga, then the anime. By the time it gets to like the light novel, they decide to change everything because at that point, it's not about pleasing just the fans, but get a complete story.
Well, I mean, the reality is Aqua's literally just someone that you just sleep with and then get the hell away from it. The problem is you're still doing that at your own peril because she's going to stick around you until you basically die. Because once she realizes that you're a person that'll stay around her, she's going to stick around you too and mooch off you.
Mm-hmm. And Darkness, she's not exactly waifu material because she's like a degenerate. She wants to be hurt, which basically leaves Megumi because she's pretty much as normal as you get in that series.
Okay, so I found an interesting article because I wanted to see. I'm like, okay, top 10 waifus. I want to see what people rate their top 10 and see how I'd actually react to that. So this is like some weird like Japanese survey. I don't know Girls and Panzer. I actually watched that show. They put Vignette from Gabriel Drop It in there. I'm like, yeah, you know what? She's not bad.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Cardcaptor Sakura should not count. That is definitely pedophilia. I haven't watched Bakuman. I watched a tiny bit of Ancient Magus Bride. I didn't get Chise that well. I don't understand why people like her that much.
Who?
The main girl, the main redhead girl in Ancient Magus Bride.
Oh, I don't know.
Tsubasa from Monogatari. I don't know. She was all right.
She's all right. I'm.
No, that can't be right. Okay, well, before I get to 4, number 5 was March Coming Like a Lion Zakari. I wouldn't know. I dropped that show after 2 episodes because it was depressing the fuck out of me.
It is depressing, but I read the manga. Basically, Hina is the best girl.
And this top 4 is very suspect.
Yeah,
number 4 is Sakura from Fate.
Think about it.
Why Sakura?
Why Worm Girl?
Like, of all the people in Fate, how is Sakura the one people like? Isn't Sakura like one of the most like crazy?
Yeah, she goes psychotic in her route. I think she kills Reen or something like that.
Something like that.
I remember all here. I'm thinking this is it because I remember some like article that was on Crunchyroll, and they did like a top 10 romance anime, and no, this isn't the right one because it has actual romances in it. And they had like Naruto and Familiar Zero in there, like, and Familiar Zero is like their top romance pick.
But like, man, the top three is Megumi from Seikano, which is basically the most like blank slate girl in that show.
Oh, the autistic girlfriend totally dependent on you.
Rem is number two, which I don't have an opinion on because I haven't watched the show, like I said.
She's all right, but
And of course, number one is Asuna,
ugh.
because of course.
Well, you know, women exist to make sandwiches and all.
I should know that it's a popularity contest. I should know better.
I know. That's kind of those one of those things like
I tried
for
another one, it didn't help. I tried
like
another
for
article, it's even worse.
Monogatari, Tsubasa is all right, but the way I always went for that series is I like Kambaru, the kind of lesbian girl, because she's pretty much the best girl for the main character. Because she's not a psychotic bitch will murder him if he cheats on her.
Good lord. Another website, top 10. Asuna's 10. Well, at least that's a little more sensible. Number 9 is Mount Lady from My Hero Academia, so that's a popularity thing. Serena from Pokemon XY, don't have a clue. Nico Robin, meh. Yoko Littner, all right, I'll let that go.
I hate when they got these like listenings like all stuff from Shonen Jump series.
Yeah, Urza Scarlet, I couldn't care less. Rias Gremory, that's I love how the thing is she is a sweetheart. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's
she's
no
all right, but
I'd start with.
I like to call her like the starter waifu.
Android 18 is number 3. That's interesting. Your favorite Hinata from Naruto is number 2.
Ugh.
And then Lucy from Fairy Tail is number 1. I'm like, I know.
I wish I could find that article because there's like a list of like what they call the best romance anime. And it's like a bunch of like battle series where romance is like secondary to it's not really that important to the series.
See, if you want to go accurate, you just go to Ranker and do the hottest like anime girls, and then it's just straight up like High School DxD, Fairy Tail, fucking Heaven's Last Paradise or whatever that show's called, fucking High School of the Dead. Like it's just like no, this is all
Crazy
clear
thought.
like etchy anime. It's like all right, we get it. Yeah, that I can agree with.
Now you mentioned High School of the Dead, I need to say it. Ray is a thought.
Well, there goes the Mingo card again.
That still bothers me because basically she's angry at him because he killed her boyfriend. But now she's like, well, my last boyfriend's dead. You were my boyfriend before him. How about we give it another shot? Like, be gone, thought. You were just angry at him because he killed your current boyfriend.
I mean, this is the problem with just seeing articles like this because they're clearly popularity driven.
Yeah, it's kind of a problem.
If you actually sat me down and had me pick out the top 10 anime waifus that I've seen and all the animes that I've watched, I think if you literally had like the core anime audience looking at my article, like at least half of them wouldn't have a clue what any of the characters on my list are.
I know. See, what factors into me choosing waifus are like characters I show has something about them that I like.
To me, I take the term literally.
Yeah.
When I call a character a waifu, it's someone that I legit believe that if I met in person and was a real life representation of that character, I would 100% marry if I could.
Well, let's look at Watch Mojo's top 10 waifus because
That's the one that I read.
nothing could go wrong from Watch Mojo. It's not like they said that and like their top 10 worst couples in anime. They did like they said like Kiritsugu and Irisville were bad couple because they use that clip from when the Grail was trying to get him to make his wish because when he realized the Grail was corrupt. and
Yeah.
he kills a representation of her, and I think that was actually her. No, that was the Grail. She was already dead. And of course, I don't know if you saw Kami got killed, but they always have a fit because what's his name ends up with mine, and instead of S death, like S deaths turn ons are murdering people. That's not someone you want to marry.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that annoys me. Like, yeah, she's hot, but her turns on are torture and murder. You don't marry people like that. Bad things happen if you marry someone like that. Ugh.
Yeah,
So,
let's see. First, I made a top 10 a long time ago of anime girls I'd marry. Let's see, how many do I think of the people would actually know who they are? I think there's a good chance that they'd maybe know. They guarantee would know two of them. They would know Makoto from Idolmaster. They'd know Akatsuki from Log Horizon. I
well,
don't know.
Makoto's probably when it comes to like the first Isle Master, I am perpetually torn between Makoto and Miki
Yeah.
because both are great characters.
Like I had Kigali from Gundam Seed, which some people might know. Lynette from Strike Witches, which most people try to ignore because, of course, it's ecchi.
Mm-hmm.
Nagisa from Actually I Am, which I think no one ever watched. Marika from Bodacious Space Pirates. Asa from Shuffle. Rika from Chunibyo. Charlotte, of course. And then Kuan from Utaru Ramuno.
Oof.
And I'm looking at that list being like, yeah, I think most people would not know what the fuck half of these girls are.
Yeah, looking at the Watch Mojo list is like it's like the Garden Variety waifus.
Yeah.
Like Tsubasa has to be like the one that most people have as a waifu, and then you get to Megumi from Seikano and Asuna. Like, ugh. I really don't like Megumi's archetype because basically it's like I said, the autistic girlfriend who's totally dependent on you because she's got no. She's. I think she's literally autistic because she doesn't understand human emotions. And so, because I remember that meme was going around for like a short bit. Is like they took like pet girlfriend or whatever that one's with the literally autistic girl was because you said the one that says she likes panties or something like that, and that's where it comes from because she's that kind of girl that has no real personality traits that are strong.
Well, I think you notice with the way that a lot of people do like stuff like waifu tiers and things is a lot of it is very much based on this is the hottest girl that I like the most from the show that I'm watching right now.
Yeah,
And it's like that's not what a waifu is. Not every show that I watch has a waifu.
no,
It's even in harems. Like there are harems out there that I've watched in full and have been like, no, like they're like I'll pick like my favorite from the show, but they won't hit that tier.
you know,
Like people who love the Persona series, for example. Like when you think people picking waifus, who are they picking? They're picking Yukari or they're picking Mitsuru for Persona 3. I pick Fuka because she's the only one that seems fucking real.
yeah,
Because everybody just thinks that looks come first when it comes to these things, I notice, and which is kind of weird.
I know. I don't know if you ever heard like the Kiss X Sis series, but
Oh, of course I have.
yeah, I read the manga for a bit. And I got to the point where I just couldn't read it because the teacher, she was a total hypocrite. She shames the main character for fooling around with his sisters, saying that's against the law, but then she starts dating him. Like,
Well, hypocrisy is very much an anime trope.
I don't know. Yeah, I just never really liked her character. I gonna sound weird, but I kind of like that dark haired girl that's always pissing herself. The one with the glasses.
Yeah.
There's something
God, I
redeeming
remember
about.
watching the OVA of that show was holy shit.
Yeah, I just
Holy fuck. That's like near Boku no Pico levels.
yeah, it's basically porn.
Ugh.
Looking through my because I have my waifu folder on my computer, and I'm just going through all the stuff I've saved. Like in the Campione series, my favorite character was Maria Yuri. Well, not when I watched the anime. When I watched the anime, it was Liliana, who was your typical tsundere. But when I read the novels, it turned into Maria Yuri because she's got that other kind of sun where she's got a sharp tongue.
Yeah.
Like, oof. She's got like the kind of girl that after you fuck up, she's gonna let you know how you fucked up, how you shouldn't be doing that. That's a little bit more intimidating than some girl's gonna beat the shit out of you. Let me see.
I'm just finding that like with especially harems that the characters I tend to gravitate to are the ones that are they're a lot more aware of where they stand, and they're a lot more aware that things have changed now that the guy is in the fray.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sagiri is a great example of that, where she really does have to like the entire series come to terms with the fact that this guy that she really wants to kick the shit out of because she believes he's a giant pervert, she's slowly but surely falling for this guy.
Mm-hmm. I know. I remember reading like in the manga, but eventually at some point they stop. I think they just start bathing in the same bath as him or something like that. Like, is it accepted fact?
Well, hell, it's just every morning he gets knocked out the window and into that bath. So
Yeah, I think Yuna takes care of his punishment over shit. But let's see. What's gonna animate it in the coming seasons is We Never Learn, and in that series I kind of like the character of Fumino. She's she is a tsundere despite what people think, because there are archetypes of the spectrum. Because people think a tsundere's gotta be this ill-tempered, bitchy woman that's gonna beat the shit out of people and say mean things all the time. There's the type B that they're genuinely friendly, but when they get embarrassed, they start acting awkward.
yeah,
Where they start reacting with jealousy and irritation and all that.
it's weird. I keep looking at what's coming up next season. There's just nothing. Nothing's grabbing me.
I need to fire it up on mine.
The only one I'm half curious in is the one that's about the guy that gets reincarnated as a slime. Only because I'm interested to see how that actually turns.
I read the manga for that. That's pretty good. But
that's the only thing that's interesting. Like, I don't expect anything of it. I'm just more curious of like, okay, how are they going to write that?
It's actually a pretty. Let me see. Yeah, they got the fall season up.
But like in terms of shows that I'm reading, like none of them really description wise are even really grabbing me. I found.
Yeah, like
this is going to be. It's either going to be a season that I'm going to have like a very small amount of shows that I'm watching every week, or there's going to be a lot of surprises.
Well, they're going to have a new season of Castlevania. Please be more than 4 fucking episodes, please. That's what pissed me off about like Castlevania on Netflix. You get into it, and it's like 4 episodes and it's done. Like, why did you do this? Why?
I'm noticing there's a lot of like continuations of shows, so it's like.
Going
I know there are a lot of people excited because, you know, obviously Fooly Cooly is going to have a new series, which I'm still very nervous about.
Yeah, when I decided to go with like a female protagonist this time around, just like, doesn't sound like it's for me because it might be all girly shit, and that just doesn't do anything for me.
But just like everything that everybody's excited for, like obviously I haven't watched Unizama 11, so I got nothing to add to that.
Well,
Magical Index, I can't get myself to keep up with, so I'm not.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching that because I've been waiting like a few years for that to happen. Because
I know a lot of people were talking about Banana Fish from last season. I just couldn't care less.
I don't know what that is.
What else is here?
Oh, here's the obligatory Yuri anime of the season. That
of course, the new Sword Art.
Please let that. I'm not going to watch it because I just don't like Sword Art
There's,
Online.
there's more fairy tale. So like there's a lot of stuff coming this season that I think for people that are fans of series that have been around are excited.
And
Like,
here's the obligatory Girls Love series.
oh yeah, I saw that one.
And like, okay, I feel sorry for people who follow Crunchyroll because they're not going to hear the end of that one.
But like, what else is there? I saw something earlier as I was passing through stuff. Like a Golden Kamui, which I couldn't get into. Idolmaster's still going with its new stuff. Tokyo Ghoul, I didn't get into.
Let's see,
Uh,
Goblin Slayer, but I don't not sure I really want to watch an anime because basically that series is about shows goblins raping female adventurers. They kill the man and they rape the women. That's
yeah,
that's the reason why Goblin Slayer kills the goblins because they raped his sister and killed her.
yeah. Like nothing I'm looking at here. It's just nothing's got me. So something's gonna have to really come out of the woodwork and surprise
Yeah.
me. Otherwise, this might be a really really short season.
Let's see.
Because like I see there's gonna be an anime about the Conception games, which I've played and are garbage. So I'm not really interested in that.
Let's see. I'm still going through. Just got to the J's. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I can't really get into that because Deal is like he's clearly evil and you think he's a good person because did he put like Joseph's dog in a box and let them burn it alive and they're wondering who did this? Maybe your adopted son who has a problem because Joseph punched him for kissing his girlfriend.
I keep reading. There's just nothing.
Kishu- Kishuku Gaku no Juliet might be interesting.
Uh, Tonari no Kyuketsuki Suki song could be all right, but it looks like it's gonna be a 4 coma, so it could be a short.
Yeah.
I know that everybody's probably gonna go nuts about the sumo one that's coming out, Hitomaru Zuma, but I I hate sumo wrestling, and I know what that anime is going to be. It's going to be another bunch of slow mo, fucking introspective sports animes that I'm just going to be like, stop.
Yeah, like this one I might give a shot. Origasuki Nana wa Imoto Dakedo Imoto na Chan Nai.
That's a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of those light novels that's got basically the title, the plot summed up in it. Basically, it's the one I love is my little sister, but she's not a little sister.
Oof, of course.
Because Japan has this thing about incest. I mean, that was like the second arc of One Room. Having an Emoto that's in love with you or something like that. And like,
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, like, I guess maybe it's just because I've been watching so much anime now that everything's starting to sound so samey.
I know.
But I'm literally reading some of it. I'm like, this literally sounds like stuff that I've watched.
I don't really watch as much anime as I used to because of like one of my mutuals, Tadashi, he watches every anime that comes out every season.
I guess the only one that's kind of making me curious is the Jeanne d'Arc one.
Yeah, that sounds like it might be a harem because you look at the covers, like
Yeah, oh yeah, it definitely has that look to it, but it has a very badass look to it. So at least I'm curious because at least the art looks good.
yeah, because you got like some one guy and all of them are girls. Like during France's Hundred Years' War, England, Montmorency, the son. I'm surprised that they make the main character Gilderai.
See, there's another one called Hashiri Suzukete Yokatate, which is a voice actor thing, which I've learned from watching shows before. I can't stand voice actor centered anime. They're just boring as shit.
Yeah. Like, it'd be nice if they just did another season of Cinderella Girls instead of doing these little chibi. Oh, this is not about. This is the one with the male idols.
And then, like,
male idols just don't appeal to me. Like, I guess I'm not the target demographic, but
Ingress might be interesting. Like, there's a couple things I look at and say, you know what, they might have something, but
Gridman looks.
There's usually a couple of shows that I read the description of and be like, that sounds fucking stupid. I love it.
Gridman sounds like it might be interesting. It might be good for me to try different animated for a little bit. So just
Like when I looked at all the stuff for this current season, I should say, as it's ending, um, Kitaro sounded interesting to me, and I really liked the artwork. It just ended up not being anything. Island I thought sounded interesting, and I hung on to it, but it didn't go quite the direction I thought it would.
the one I did actually finish was Planet With,
Yeah,
and that could have got used a little bit more of a push in character development because a lot of them are good characters.
yeah.
Like, and you had this kind of half-assed romance subplot between the main character and that one girl that Nozomi or something like that.
Mm.
And like, eh,
Stuff. Phantom in the Twilight, I knew I had a bad feeling about, and sure enough, I was right. Isekai Mao, I thought was going to be decent, and it ended up being better than I thought. Harukana Receive, I thought would be terrible because it was just beach volleyball. So I figure, okay, it's going to be just tits and ass, and I wasn't wrong, but it was actually really good.
I should probably try watch Baki. It's one of those
I
hand-to-hand combat
I
kind of.
don't understand why people are still watching Angels of Death. It's just terrible. I
It's based
don't.
on the game, isn't it? Because that's what Raging Golden Eagle says. Like basically,
I don't get why I let that show go on for too long. I don't know why I didn't drop that sooner because it just wasn't doing anything. It started
granted,
off really nicely and then it just did nothing. It just kept doing nothing.
I know. Let's see.
Cells at Work ended up being amazing.
Yeah. Oh, there's some idiot. I don't know if you heard about this Senpai Notes idiot on Twitter. They try to say that sales at work is about communism. Why?
Oh,
Because
they're just retarded.
I know. Why? Because the cells have their assigned roles within the body, and that they're part of a society. That's that. Cells don't have the structure we do in our world. They're assigned at birth what their role is.
I guess the only other thing here is I thought the third season of Overlord was going to be so good, and it's really under delivered for me this season.
Yeah,
I've really been disappointed with it.
yeah.
But yeah,
Anima Yell probably gonna be basically the Yuri Bay of the season, the one that teases at Yuri, but it's not really Yuri because they got to get those thirsty weebs that want to see lesbians.
oh, is there even going to be anything in the winter that I'm going to be interested in later on? Let's see. Nothing I recognize anyway by the looks of it.
Yeah, I need to
Nope.
bring up my anime list because Anime Planet has like the fall.
Mind you, I think it's at the point now that like most of the stuff that I was waiting for have been done, and now it's just kind of waiting to see what gets announced for continuation.
Let's see, anime seasonal.
Because I'm looking at future seasons, and there's nothing else really announced that I'm like, okay, I can't wait for that.
Okay, winter 2019. Let's see, Mob Psycho, Kakigarui. I'm not going to watch Tate no Yusha because that series makes me angry because of how they treat the main character. And I just can't get into shows that make me feel angry because, like, I'm already angry enough. Let's see. See. No, 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 no. Maho Shoujo Tokushusen Asuka. I don't even know what that is. I was trying to read the description and see if it wasn't just Maho Shoujo the end. That's a series about like how these robotic kind of Maho Shoujo invade that they're like zombies and they start killing people off. And it gets in this convoluted plot about actual magical girls and how they're like witches and shit like that. And there's like a side story. Girly Air Force. Christ. That sounds like girls in Panzer with Air Force shit. I don't see that much for winter yet. Let's see. Spring 2019. Let's see what they got for spring. Dang, it's gotta be a long wait for One Punch Man 2.
That's okay. You guys can wait for that.
I got there's gonna be another Simple Gear. I still haven't finished like the first one. Can I tried to read the manga for Kenjin no Mago, but I I feel like it kind of forced the main ship on people. Like I just can't get an isekai where it's not doesn't have a harem because it just feels unnatural. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels kind of weird to be reborn in another world where and they have the same laws about marriage and shit like that. Like that doesn't feel right. You should be having like a bunch of girls throwing themselves at you because you're the second coming of Jesus, and they want your Jesus babies. They they don't know when they're gonna do Daylight 3 for some reason. I still don't understand the appeal of Kentai collection. Like if I want to do the ship waifu thing, I do blue steel
Yeah.
because basically the ships are presented as like being normal girls instead of having a bunch of ship parts on them. Ari Ferretta sometime down the line. That's when you do the main character gets punched and he comes back strong and kicks everyone's ass. Because I don't want to give it away, but basically someone in his class tries to kill him because of some bullshit, and he somehow survives it because like really buff and all sorts of shit. That's how you do it. Okay, Vinland Saga. Oh, they're going to do another season of Grand Blue Fantasy.
That's good. I was pleasantly surprised by the first one.
Oh, they're doing another Fate Grand Order.
Well, of course.
Well, I wish they would have just did like a proper anime, like each season about a different one of the singularities. Let's see. I don't know if they're still going to do the Domain no Jinsei well Isekai Day because like the cast and all them quit because the authors said some stuff about Koreans and Chinese people because shocker, Japanese people are racists.
Who knew?
Yeah, it's like this shocking thing to most normies that all ate like the Chinese, Japanese, and Koreans all hate each other. It's like they don't really get it. Like I also will say that his racist statement, his bigoted statements about the Chinese and Koreans were fascist. Like, man, they like to overuse that term fascist because fascism isn't about being bigoted towards people. Fascism is like a really defined term of Italian socialism. Let's see. World Witches. I don't know if that's like a new version of Strike Witches, because one of the girls looks like that one with the eye patch.
I was gonna say they already tried with Brave Witches and they weren't able to I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but they weren't able to rekindle what I liked about the first season of the first series.
Yeah.
Brave Witches was just boring to me.
Yeah. Bokutachi wa Benkyo ga Dekinai. That's what I call We Never Learn. That's the English name. It's basically about a poor white, not, I was going to say poor white boy, a poor kid who's trying to get a scholarship, and he has to help tutor two girls who are good and like specific fields. Like one's good in like the arts and one's good in the sciences, but they want to major in the other field, and
Yeah.
they don't. He tries to get them to help tour each other, but they don't know how to explain it. They just know it. That's a really good series. You'd like it. Shometsu Toshi. Looks like Fujo bait. Before you look at some shows, you're like, I think that's to get the Fujo. Because Fujo aren't exactly known for good taste. Let's see. I'm not seeing, of course, as we get closer to spring, or there'll probably be more that they show.
Yeah, I guess a little bit barren at this point once you get 2 seasons over.
Yeah, and winter, there's not much there yet, but some, then they release it. They let you know about the last minute, like they've been keeping it a secret.
But anything else you want to add? That's another topic.
Oh,
Otherwise, I'm probably gonna take off because
yeah.
I gotta get ready for work in the
One
morning.
last thing. Quanji Gashou second season is going to come around. That's a great Chinese anime about like basically it's about a pro gamer. He's like the most talented guy in the sport. It's like a kind of MMO type game. It's, they have like they're like professionals, and well they decide after one loss that they're going to get rid of him and give it to some little asshole. Give his character and all the gear and all that shit to him. And this little asshole, he's not really cut up. Like, here's the problem with that story is basically most of the way we build our characters, they're to suit our play style. Like, if you look at my how I build my use my Titan and Destiny, I usually run with a sweet business and the armament, not the armamentarian, the war rig. They probably won't work for most people, and it's kind of and the whole plot is he starts working at like an internet cafe and playing the game just for fun of it. He builds up a new character that was left to him by his friend who died, and over time he becomes like the most feared guy in the game because he's just wrecking shit on a new server. And they did like an OVA a few months back, and he basically comes out of retirement for a brief moment using a move that only he can use. And it's really cool to see.
Yeah,
I don't know how you feel about Chinese anime, but I recommend giving it a chance because, like, for me, I watch a lot of martial arts films, so Chinese dialogue doesn't bother me. But for some people, hearing Chinese bothers them.
I think that's what it is for me. It's just the dialect is too weird.
Yeah, I like Chinese dialect for some reason. It sounds normal. It's Korean that bothers me. It's kind of weird, but I
I find with especially like with Chinese where there's a lot of the chi sounds to so many different syllables that it sounds almost like somebody stuttering to me. It really throws me off. Like when I was watching fuck, what was that anime called? I can't remember if it was either this season or last. I think it was last season where there was some random show that started later in the season and it was a Chinese
uh,
anime. I can't
I
think of the name of it, but it was the
I
first
always
time. It was the first time I watched an anime that had either. I think it would have been Mandarin, and it threw me the fuck off because just it.
there's like
I felt like I was struggling to pay attention to what was going on because I was still trying so hard to decipher what I was listening to.
yeah, like I've only really watched like two Chinese anime, and what it's this one. The English name is The King's Avatar, and the other one is Cupid's Chocolate, which is a harem. And it's a really
Okay.
good. It's a really good harem. I actually like the main girl in that one because she's actually likable. She's like she's like her like the rich girl, but she's not like the haughty rich girl. She's like a nice girl that's just trying to be nice. And her whole thing was that she doesn't get to spend any time with her father because her father's always working. So the way the Cupid's chocolate works is basically it gives a girl some delusion about why she's in love with where boy ate the chocolate. Yeah, basically there was like a chocolate cake. Took like a taste of the frosting, and all these girls ate the cake. Now all of them are in love with him. It was a really good show, but I think we're going to call it a night. Thanks to those who tuned in. And as soon as I find the right tab, I'll stop the broadcast. Any last words?
Uh, no, I think I pretty much got everything we needed to on that.
Yep.
It's not really anything topical I can think of otherwise. That's why I was asking earlier, because I literally was like looking at every site possible, and I can't find anything else.
I know we ran out of stuff to talk about. Maybe on Friday, if you got time, because that's when Lionel's free, we can do a stream with him.
It should be, so we'll see.
Yeah, because he's in college, so he doesn't have time the rest of the week.
Boo. How dare people have, responsibilities.
Yeah, that's fine. Gives me time to game.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
You got some catching up to do.
Yep. Gotta finish doing stuff in Forsaken, and I'm hitting the button now. Goodbye.